This has got to be one of the saddest Reddit posts I have come across. And this is one of the reasons why I am so pro choice. I do not want women having babies that they do not want because they will regret it for their lives and become resentful. And those children will be traumatized and damaged when they find out that their mother did not want them. She says, I gave up my kid. I just need to vent. While I'm hunting for a new therapist, I thought I would share my story. I never wanted kids. Not once in my life did I ever have any remote desire for it. I don't have a single natural motherly instinct in me, and I never have. I terminated a pregnancy in my 20s thanks to a supportive partner at the time respecting this about me. It wasn't fun, but it further cemented my fears and natural aversion to having kids. I had made the right choice and would do it again if need be. Before I married my ex, I made sure we established that boundary loud and clear. He had always known my stance on having kids was a big never. But before we married, I told him, you have to be okay with my decision if it happens. He agreed wholeheartedly, telling me he would always respect my life, my body, and my choices. Fast forward to the day I found out I was pregnant. I had taken plan B and it didn't work. Stupid mistake that I tried to prevent. So, of course, I asked him for his support through another traumatic time. I was terrified and upset. Now, before we move forward, I do want to remind ladies that Plan B has a weight limit. So if you're going to use Plan B, make sure that you look at what the weight limit is, because if it doesn't, it might not work if you need to take two because of the weight limit for the pill. Cue the big surprise as if my words, my plans, my life were never even heard. He sped home and fawned over me, told me how happy he was. We were going to have a baby. I told him I wasn't keeping it, reminded him that that was never going to be my life, and he knew this. I was in my mid-20s at the time, so I should have had a better head on my shoulders, but I was not very educated. I was abandoned as a teen and dealt with a lot of trauma and fear of authority. When he told me he was going to sue me if I terminated, I believed him. When he told me that because I had been hospitalized in the past due to my mental health, it would be easy to have me institutionalized and take the baby, I believed him. When he told me he would kick me out on the street with nowhere to go, I believed him. When he had his family show up to my home to make sure I wasn't going to hurt myself or the baby, I did nothing. I begged my mom several times to help me get to terminate in secret. She was the only person I could think of who would help me. But because I didn't tell her right away that I didn't want this, she was too she said she was too attached to her grandchild already and urged me to follow through with the pregnancy. I did my best with accepting my worst nightmare. I had a beautiful child who I loved immediately. I woke up every single night at all times of the day for the baby. My ex-husband refused to help. I stayed home with the baby while he pretended to be at work, opting to hide at his friends' houses because he has secretly quit his job. We lost two apartments within the first year of having our child because he hid months of not paying rent. I could have helped, but he wouldn't allow our child to go to a daycare so young. But it didn't stop him from further wrecking my self-esteem by calling me lazy, telling me I had no work ethic, and convincing me that I wasn't a good person or mother. Now, y'all, he wouldn't allow them to take the baby to daycare, but he would allow them to be evicted because he didn't pay the rent. That is the thought processes of these people. Ladies, when you want to be child free, I don't know what to say. She made her boundaries clear and she didn't stick with it. She feared this man, and now she's stuck with this baby and this man, and she did not want to have a baby. This is so wild how these people do these child-free women. She said she didn't have a motherly bone in her body, and he coerced her into having this baby, and then he's denigrating her by saying she's not a good person or a good mother. That is like, are we living in upside down world? Okay, so let's continue. Even as I type this out, I cannot believe this has happened to me. This doesn't seem real to admit, and I don't think I will ever heal. I did my best as my kid grew older. We divorced when they were 3, they're now 7. I crawled my way into independence over the span of several years, beating all of the odds, and I continued to do my best. I became the secondary parent after our divorce due to not having anywhere stable to live. As the years progressed, I felt more and more disconnected from my child. They got older and less interested in the time we spent together. Every weekend was full of confusion, loneliness, and chaos as I tried to keep up with how to mother a child alone. Over time, it's as if my kids slowly took the shape of everything I had been put through, and I found it harder to be a kind and loving mother. But in reality, I had never been a kind and loving mother. I tolerated this new life, but I am tired, and my child deserves a loving mother in someone else. I simply don't know how anymore. My life has been ruined by heartache. Heartache for the loss of the life I wish that I had. Heartache for a beautiful, innocent kid who doesn't deserve this hole I've left in their heart. Heartache for my failure. Heartache for losing my chance to have a relationship with this child. I don't even know how to finish this. I don't know what comes next. I just hope they can forgive me someday. I tried very hard to not bring a kid into this painful world. I really tried. So I didn't do any of the comments because she wasn't there to get advice. She just wanted to vent. And I just cannot, for the life of me, understand why men would want to just just put their sperm and have a baby with somebody like this. And I'm not even saying that in a bad way. She knew that she didn't want to have a child, but regardless of what she wanted wasn't enough for that man. He had to go ahead and just impose his will. What is it about some of these people that make them want to dominate women? It's like, what kind of life are you trying to make for everybody involved? This woman is damaged. That child is going to be traumatized. No matter what, that child is going to have a hole in their heart based on the fact that their mother didn't want them. Their mother rejected them. It's just cruelty all around. And I can't imagine being the man that's perfectly fine with making sure that, this child is left with a woman that didn't want to be a mother, that's making sure that, that doesn't care that they're becoming homeless, that there's no money available. What kind of, ladies, be okay with your decisions and staying away from these people. And if you are in a state that is trying to restrict your reproductive freedoms, try to find somewhere else or some kind of way to get out of that state. Find some kind of way to get permanently sterilized, because this sounds like a nightmare. This sounds like nightmare fuel. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.